Welcome to episode 15 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. My name is Andy Weins, joined as always with my co-host, Casey Bubba Lawrence. We are here today and as always to talk junk removal. If you are looking to grow, scale, get out of the junk removal industry, you've come to the right place. We talk to everybody from novices to seasoned professionals, and occasionally we even talk a little bit of trash. Casey, what are we talking about this week?
I think we're going to check in with our buddy Griffin here, and this is going to be part 2 to the last episode that we did 2 weeks ago when I was in Florida.
Florida.
We're going to kind of get an update.
Yeah. So, Griff, let's talk. Let's first talk. What did you learn? What were your takeaways from when we did the last episode? And then we're going to jump into what's next. So let's start with what takeaways did you have from the last episode?
One thing was that full-size truck price. I'm starting to implement it, going up to 800 with that one. And when I was doing the cubic yards calculations, I was never including that $100 service fee that you guys are doing. So I always thought my cubic yards were like, if I had that quarter load for $250, I was just divided by the 6. I wasn't subtracting the 100 and then dividing by 6. So I was thinking my cubic yard per price is higher than what it actually was. So I'm starting to implement that now.
Okay. How's business been the last week? Just in general?
Good. Yeah, it was a pretty busy week for us with the one truck. So, I mean, tomorrow we got 3 hot tubs alone. So staying busy with that one. So
you put those hot tubs right into the old U-Haul truck? Okay. Oh yeah. Or cut up. Oh yeah, we talked about that. The last episode we talked about the hot tub dolly. And we almost exclusively haul our hot tubs on an open trailer because it's just easier and safer to get up. Once we get them back to our yard, we stack up 3 or 4, sometimes up to 5, depending on the size, onto a flatbed trailer and take them up to landfill all at once. And it just allows us to be safer and more efficient over time. And that's just, again, once you have a yard, next level thinking.
We stopped cutting up hot tubs, man. Like,
stop cutting up hot tubs. Like whatever you can do to not be cutting up hot tubs, that's the world you want to be in.
Where are you at again?
Twin Cities.
Okay.
It got Casey. It got over 90. Okay, got over 90. We got. So 100. What is 108 by you? 95. Casey's actually doing it from his bedroom today because he didn't want to sit in his truck because the AC would be screaming right now.
So.
It's a dry heat, Casey.
So check this out, okay? So just real quick, this affects junk removal. It really does, right?
It does.
So this entire week, not one day is below 103. Okay? And what sucks is we're actually about to be on record to beat our 1981 record of 31 days in a row with temperatures above 100 degrees.
We lost Griff.
You got scared. We got real heat over here.
That's the reality of junk removal and life, I suppose. Last episode, we actually talked about reviews and how you can sit here and point fingers and blame and responsibility, but it's more like, hey, explain what happened and what you're going to do about it. So,
I'll eat crow.
There we go. Oh, eat crow. We also have to eat crow. Here we are eating crow. Actually, Casey and I just bullshitted for like 10 minutes off record. We're still on camera. All right, so we were talking, stop cutting up hot tubs. Or, what do you need to do to stop cutting up? Like, you were about to be like, yeah, because tomorrow's going to suck. It's hot. And then Casey was going to bitch about how hot it is there. Whatever. All right. What other takeaways or what other, possibly aha moments you've had either during the podcast last week or since, the things that resonated with you where you need to start, stop, or continue doing what you're currently doing?
Another one. It just kind of confirmed. I was thinking about getting that other truck. I was on the fence, but I think you guys were right when you was just kind of waiting through this busy season because by the time that gets all set up and a crew running on that, it's going to be cold here in Minnesota, and it's probably not going to be as busy as it is now. So more so just mastering that one truck and getting 2 guys going on that one, working them for them like themselves while I'm off it, and then once it starts to get up in probably March next year, then get that next truck. So I don't want to be stuck with that one truck and not be busy enough to fill it during the winter here.
Yeah, one of my guys today literally said to me, hey, what are we doing for winter work? Because he already is scarcity mindset. Now, one of my biggest customers asked me today if I could do a 3-month project, so I'm Now, I don't have the bodies today. It'd be great to do the project, come December 1. But, okay, so that and appreciate that feedback because that supports Casey and I in understanding where you're at today and what we can provide you. So I was excited because I wanted to have an episode 2 because, we got into pricing and some other stuff, but there's so many more facets to jump into with junk removal. Casey and I realized over the last 12, 13 episodes as we've been releasing them and people have been coming back, we're realizing there's a huge demand right now for this information on how to get your junk removal company to the next level. Not just up, right, but next level. And people have been resonating with your episode. It's only been released a short amount of time here. And so I want to say it's interesting to me. So what else? What's next? So we talked about pricing. You changed your pricing. You're going to pause on the second truck, but you have a strategy now to hire a second guy on your current truck so they're rocking and rolling, which opens up you to have more time to work on the business, right? Those are all the things. Mm-hmm. So what else is next? What else what information can we give you so you don't have to go learn it the hard way?
Another thing I was trying to figure out is when's the right time to get either a facility of some sort so I can start. I mean, that's going to be saving up on so much just on dump fees around here. Kind of start to implementing that. We have a storage unit right now. It's probably not big enough. It fills up within a couple days. And we're probably saving more so on dump fees rather than because we have a half truck and we have to go to a bigger job that's more than half. So we'll take a third out and just throw it in there so we can go fill that up so we don't waste a half a load. That's kind of what we're using that for right now. But I'd like to get a whole couple Gaylords of TVs and stuff like that and everything in there. But, all this takes money and stuff.
All right. I have one question for you. All right. First off, do you know the majority of what you throw away? All right. What's the majority of the stuff you take to the dump? First off. Okay. So, get that information.
No metals, but.
Okay. Well, get that information. And also, have you ever heard the saying, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 37 or whatever?
Yeah.
So there was a franchise that made this mistake. Actually, it wasn't the franchise as much as it was an investor. And they started everybody out on step 20, and they never went through the first 19 steps. Eventually, every single one of them closed up shop within 18 months because they realized real quick, money doesn't fix your problems.
Yep.
How you have that question you asked, for me, it's a variable question because what I have to tell you is grow into your next step. I started out in my mom's kitchen with a truck and trailer in her driveway until the point where two things happened. One, we needed another space. Two, the HOA was like, no, you can't have 3 trucks. That ain't working for us.
Yeah.
But
go until it's completely broke. Yes.
Yeah, but then we got to, okay, we need a space. Now, we did not go, we went from having no space, and then we got this little small house converted into an office, and then we had rented parking spaces for our trucks. So we still only had about a garage worth of space to work with. That was our first growth into that space. A year and a half later, not even, then we moved into a bigger facility, incorporated a yard. Then our next step was we actually shrunk our facility, got another smaller facility and a yard. So how you get into the next thing, I'm going to say right now, knowing what I've heard from you and Andy about Minnesota, it ain't going to happen this year.
No.
Because you're not doing the numbers. You only have one truck, and it wouldn't be worth it. You would close up shop because you'd be like, I'm coming out of pocket.
You could, correct. The way you could do it this year yet is getting into a situation where it's a sublease, it's a month to month, it's 6 months, and you need 1,200 square feet, 8 to 1,200 square feet, right? Because to that end, I went from a 700 square foot garage to a 20,000 square foot warehouse. Mm-hmm. When we moved in this warehouse, we're like, man, we're never going to fill it up. 6 months later, the fucker was full, right? And also to Casey's point, I was part of that franchise organization, or they're the venture capitalists within the franchise, where we started everybody with, we're between like 2,400 and 4,000 square feet. They never knew the pain of fucking going in and out of storage units all day. Mm-hmm. So they didn't realize their processes. They wanted to hold on to everything. I remember like 10 years ago, there was this junk removal company I talked to. They had a storage unit. They ended up getting 3 storage units at like $100 a month. And they had all this shit on shelves, like little trinkets. And they're like, oh, this is worth something. This is worth something. I finally looked at them. I was like, but it's not worth the space it's on. Yeah. And I'm like, are you doing rummage sales? Like, well, this is where we put the stuff, and then we list it on eBay, and then we sell it. I'm like, oh, I was like, are you in the junk removal business, or are you in the I'm selling shit on eBay business that happens to pull it out of people's houses?
Yeah.
So you can do a space, but I would say you probably have 3 spaces before you find your permanent space, and those 3 spaces can be in the next 18 months or 3 years, depending on how you scale.
Well, I would start with a storage unit if I was him. I mean,
he's in a storage unit. That's where he's at now.
I think how big? It's not big enough.
What, 10 by 10, 10 by 12?
10 by 12, I think it is. 10 by 12 or 12 by 12.
So
great. So get a second 10 by 12. Yeah. Right, but then even at that, a 10 by 12 is only 120 square feet. The problem with a storage unit, normally we get to 3 storage units, then you're at like that anywhere between 400 to 600 square feet. You're just moving shit in and out of fucking doors. You're not really. That's the challenge. I've never liked the storage unit model, but I say that, but I also had storage units.
It's a stepping stone.
We had it's a stepping stone. When we went from the garage to our warehouse, we had 3. I think 10 by 20s, but that was like long-term storage. Once the shit was in there, it stayed in there. Okay. Like it was stuff that we were storing up to go into our warehouse, not going in and out of every day.
Yeah. So for us, we had the storage units as well. We had 2.
How much are you paying for storage units right now? How much are you paying for that 10 by 12 a month?
I think it's like $165.
Ooh.
I mean, that's
for $500. Yeah, I mean, you're 3. This is my thing. If you get 3 storage units, that's 360 square feet, and you're at $500. I put money on that. If you went out there and hustled for 2 fucking days and went to every little storage unit and called every little garage, you could find 8 to 1,200 square feet for $500 a month for 6 months.
Yeah,
just like, hey, I just need some space. Doesn't have to be heated. I just need to have. Ideally, you have 2 doors, right? So you can kind of in and out versus or just in a corner or.
Well, ideally, you have 1 bay door.
Right, 1 bay door and a service door. That's what I'm saying. But like exactly, like 2, whatever, a different point of entry. I would do that, and it's fucking Minnesota. They're throwing things up all the time. Tell someone, hey, I just need 6 months worth of shit, and maybe you pay a little premium. But then what allows you then, it gives you that flexibility. And then if you want to store some stuff, store it. Now, if you're not storing shit and you're just dumping to drop and go,
well, then you have
then maybe your 1 storage unit.
So it's like, it's like real estate. Whenever you get into something, what is your exit? So whenever you pick something up, take it back to your shop. What does the end product look like? Are you going to scrap it? If so, how are you going to consolidate it? Is it going to be copper or whatever, all the metals? Is it a couch? Why are you keeping a couch? Does someone already want to buy that couch? If not, don't keep the couch. Donate that shit or toss it. Because honestly,
don't double handle it.
This was the hardest part about growing. You think, since you have space, we can take stuff back and save money. What you're doing is you're spending more money because now you're just taking shit and touching it again to get rid of it.
Double handle.
Because something else happens.
Double handle and everything.
Now, with you, here's the cool thing. If I were in your situation and I had winter coming up and I was like, fuck, what do? I would, just like Andy said, get a flex space, cheap as fuck if you can get a 6-month deal, cool. But I would use it to start working on my back end processes. Because even though you won't be busy bringing in all this income, the cool thing is now you have the time and space to work in your back end process. How do I get rid of stuff without paying money to get rid of it?
Mm-hmm. And also figure out if TVs are your biggest pain point right now. Yeah. Start
mattresses,
chucking up, stacking them up, so that you're buying yourself time to come up with a better solution, or you're buying yourself volume so you can get a lower rate when you take them to the next best place. Because like we talked about last episode, right? You take an hour round trip to go deliver 3 TVs at a time. Like that's just not a great use of your time. However, having your crew guys do that right at the end of every day or something, maybe that's a good use of their time versus your time. But the only way you do that is by having a stockpile of that product, or you have a job that cancels. Now you go, give yourself a warehouse day, or you schedule a warehouse day because you anticipate, I got this job. I'm going to need time in my warehouse to unass, right, my equipment. I mean, look at what's going on with Russia right now and Ukraine. They had like a 10-day essential pause, right, because they had to regroup and, not retreat, but both sides were like, oh shit, we got to recoup. And it was like, it was a strategic pause based on, hey, when we achieve these strategic objectives, we have to have a pause. And same token with you, like, hey, if I get this, and this job, I need to have a day just to right the ship. So keep that in mind. But to Casey's point, before we even jump into, because we love solving problems, why do you want another storage unit, or why do you need more space to store product?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to get in like a resale business, but sometimes what I'll do is like customers will send me pictures of stuff, and I'll just like list that because I don't have space to like bring everything back and try to sell it and stuff. So I'll get these pictures and I'll list it on Marketplace before I even got it, just to see if there's any interest in it. And if there is, then I'll bring it back. But I think it would be nice to be able to sell some of this stuff, but I just don't have time with one truck when you got to run to another job and it's taking up half the space. I just got to throw all the shit on top of the nice couch and dump it because I don't have really room.
You're seeing how something as simple as just me, a truck, and a trailer can turn into, holy shit, I need a full-on staff to do everything, to do all the things. Well, here's what I would suggest. First of all, that's great. You got someone looking for something, but in anything, when someone's trying to buy something, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have some sort of say in what you got. Oh, hey, I just picked this couch up. Yeah, I just don't like the color. Well, now what are you going to do with the couch? So what you have to look at is you're going to have to play the game of, is this worth bringing back to my shop and fucking with it, or is it not? Now, this is also why donations are awesome, because you can actually set up. This is what I ended up doing. I set up with multiple every single day at my shop. I had some sort of nonprofit coming by and picking up shit, whether it was Goodwill, Habitat. There was a few others that are not national, they're local, but every day. That means I'm feeding so many people these donations, I don't have to pay for it. And we had a process.
And you're not fucking around with it.
Right. And
now you're not fucking around with it.
You have to come up with a process. And, look, you want to get with Andy or I after this, awesome. But you have to have a process, what that looks like. So, for instance, if you bring in, let's just say a couch, for example, you bring it in. How long are you planning to keep that fucking couch on your floor? Even if you know it's pristine, never been used. How long? Because I'm going to tell you right now, in your head, you're going to think this thing's going to sell. And then a month later, you're going to have 17 couches. I'm like, holy shit, how do I get rid of these couches, man?
Here's the gamble you can take, right? How much does it cost you to drive to the landfill? What is your landfill rates at?
For a couch, or just the minimum?
Yeah.
With taxes and stuff, it's like 103 for a ton.
Okay. So that your minimum is 103. What is your average landfill run with all things combined?
150.
Okay. Your math worked out almost perfect for me. Here's the gamble you take. If you can get a second storage unit at
165.
165 a month, that is a 10 by 12. Can you put all your donations in there, and can you get a Habitat or whomever to come there twice a month and take whatever they want and have them take 90% of it? Because now if you're 165 in and they can fill that you can fill that storage unit twice a month, you're basically getting rid of 2 or 3 trailers roughly of material a month where you only handle it once as far as the offload, right? And you're producing for your community. You're doing that. Now the downside is A, you don't have enough volume. B, they don't take what you got, right? Because it's the wrong volume.
They get picky.
Right? And they get picky, right? But that's the chance you take.
Yeah.
I would do that. I would have one that's just donations, but once you put it in there, you get 2 keys. You leave one at the front desk and say, hey, twice a week or twice a month, rather, these guys are going to come by and pick it up.
Yeah.
And you tell them, hey, every other week, you can come anytime, right? They'll love that. They have flexibility so they can build it in their schedule when it's convenient for them. They can stop by. And then if you have bigger loads, they're like, hey, I know I'm going to get a bunch of nice stuff. Then you can tell them, hey, I can either bring it to you direct, or I need to schedule a second or third pickup this month. on this time. And now what you've done is you've unloaded it, right? And you put it in a storage unit, but that's less time that would have been, or similar time, than go to the landfill and unloading it, right? It depending on if you make the stop on the way in, you cement, right? Like there's time associated with it. But you're cutting down 2, maybe 3 landfill trips a month if you're getting rid of that material in a combined sense.
Yeah.
Now your investment is $165, but your ROI at $150 a trip, you cut down 3 trips a month, your ROI is $450 with a $165 investment. You're looking at a $285 return on your investment, and you're doing the right thing.
Well, and also
that's how you do recycling.
Yeah, and that's
where cash flow is positive. But would you rather fuck around, dick around on Facebook Marketplace, or just save $285 in landfill fees?
Yes.
Every month.
Yeah, and I've been looking actually at trying to do something like that. I didn't have the idea of putting it all into units. I wasn't sure if they took couches and stuff. I'm looking at a place called Bridging.
Call them.
Yeah. Because couches are additional like $30 here. So, I mean, that would add up quickly.
You guys get hammered.
That's crazy.
Right? So it's like, could I sell this couch for $50 or can I just give it away and make 30? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I am not in the resale business. I don't want to be in the resale business. And I've been in the resale business. It's completely different than junk removal.
Same here.
And the second you start fucking around over there, you lose focus on junk removal.
So, and here's how different it is. It's so different that I guarantee you and I, and Andy, because he did it too, we could talk hours on just the resale side, because it gets so deep into what's best for the owner of this business, right? Like, for instance, by the end of everything, I had 6 different companies picking up shit from me once every day. I had an auction company that worked for me. I had consignment places that actually put shit on consignment for me. So you see the key there to everything is I didn't do anything. But you have to get to the point where you can have that. It's delegation 101. But, look at Goodwill. Goodwill, they will pick shit up. They have full-time employees. All they do, drive around on routes because they get paid every day to do it because Goodwill gets paid on their stores, right? So those kind of companies are out there. The issue is, in order to get them enticed, you got to have volume. And now you got to have quality volume because they're going to be like, look, man, we'll take this umbrella, but not the washer, dryer, couch, all this other bullshit. And you're like, oh, I thought you were going to take everything.
Yeah.
So
you got to start with your biggest pain points first.
Yes.
If you want to be all things to all people, I wouldn't do it. The reason I said, you already said, hey, I'm not taking scrap metal, right? So we're not talking scrap. Yeah. You said TVs are a pain point, right? You got to come up with a solution for that because storing them right now, storing them with the expectation, a solution is going to magically appear, that's not fucking happening, right? And you got to feel good about your wins. And I know from being in your market in the past, anything upholstered is a fucking, get your ass handed to you at the transfer station. So if you can get rid of upholstered chairs, couches, mattresses would be fucking awesome, right? You got to start researching these things. Like I ship out, actually now I got rid of my semi. Once a week now I ship out whatever mattresses we have. So I ship out between 30 and 40 mattresses a week because it's on a route that I'm already running. It's like a half hour, 45-minute round, deviation. But I cut down the amount, half the square footage of my warehouse I got back that I had dedicated to mattresses because I used to store 120 to 150 at a time and fill a semi. Now I send 30, 40 down at a time. I get my warehouse back. I'm happy, right? You like this is a consistently moving target. So if you're gonna get storage units, you got to have a whole plan. Because if your plan is, if I have a storage unit, I can just store more shit, fine. So if you have one storage unit that's a holding area for, hey, just to dump and run, awesome, fine. That's fine. Dump and run. It's just a pile up, and occasionally you got to empty it out, and that allows you to take on more jobs without, the expense of additional trucks.
Yeah, but we
don't love it,
storage units,
but I get it.
Maybe a year, like that's what you have to understand.
Exactly. I don't love it, but you'll get over that hump, right? Eventually, get a commercial property with an 8-yarder on site that you can just fucking unload into that goes 1, 2, 4, 5, 7 times a week, however many, right? And then eventually you get a 40 or compactor. Like there's a lot of other options there.
So many, but that's
so many options. Yeah. But you got to get there. Right? You have to have your own space. So if you want to go the storage unit route, 3 is the key. You have one that's a dump and run. You have one that is going to be your short-term storage. That's like your donation. And then one that's your long-term storage. That is your non-ferrous metals, or in your case, TVs, because you got to come up with a better solution than what you currently have now. Mm-hmm. And you got to make a point to be able to get into that storage unit where you can access everything without getting fucking buried. Because otherwise, you're going to fill them up in a week, and then you're going to be paying $165 a month to have a storage unit full of shit.
Well,
and it's going to be 6 months before you're like, shit, I pissed away $1,000, and I have nothing to show for it.
So I did the same thing you do with TVs. I did with tires. I got to the point where I had a container I would just fill with tires because I found a company that would charge me $1.25 per tire if I had over 100. So what I would do, I compile them. Remember, I charge $15 a tire. Okay, so what you do is you're like, hey, I'm not going to go pay $20 a tire at the landfill. I'm going to keep them, let them compile. And then when it's time to go, I'll pay $1.50, $1.25 a tire all day. Now, same thing goes with TVs. It's one of those things. But you have to look at your pain point. If your pain point is TVs, look at it like a loan. A loan, you get money that you're borrowing. You're going to have to pay it back. TVs, you're not going to just get rid of them for free, but you can buy yourself some time by storing them up. And then at one time say, hey, look, will you give me a deal if I bring you like fucking 20 TVs at a time? That's when you start talking to these places. My biggest allies and assets weren't customers of mine. I was their customer. Those are the people you talk to. Those are the people you go and meet, buy them lunch, take them to coffee, because you're like, hey, look, how can I save money by using you? Right? Disposal. Right now, I can get you a top guy at Republic Services, a top guy at any recycling plant around here, because that was my main mission. How do I go in on a personal level, get some sort of partnership or deal with a pain point in my business? You know what I'm saying?
What have you done so far as TVs? How are, I know you said you're just humping them into the local transfer station or the municipality. Do you know of any TV recyclers in your area that'll take them at a rate that you're not getting raped on?
Yeah, I got a county. I just found this out. There's a county one. I think it's $10 a TV, but I haven't checked in with them because I know I could, because I'm a resident of that county, so I could bring them in a pickup. Yeah. But at some point they're gonna be like, dude, they're gonna be like, bro, you're bringing in 30 TVs this month. Mm. So I mean that would work for about a week.
Yeah, I would say you could. Yeah, so Casey has HOA come after him. I had $60,000 in fines from or potential fines. Right, I had 6 violations up to $10,000 each from the Department of Public Works. I think when it was all said and done, I paid about $1,500. And I was running you're allowed to have 4 vehicles in your yard, no more than 4. They counted 22 vehicles in my yard one day because I had my trucks. Plus, they counted every trailer as a vehicle, and that we had all our employee vehicles. They're like, you had 22, and also we had like 4 boats because we used to take boats all the time. We're like, we'll get rid of the boat later.
Yeah,
I moved fucking boats from my yard to my warehouse. 2 of them. Well, here's the joke. Because we got this, it's a fucking yacht. I either can get I can get like $1,000 for it, or I can tell people, or I can tell people I have a yacht. So it's still a pretty fucking good joke, right? So I have a yacht. I don't know if it floats, but I got a yacht in case you need a guy.
So what's one thing almost every customer has that we normally don't take? Paint, right?
Paint, yeah.
So
I fucking hate paint. Yeah.
Down here, there's a disposal center that takes hazardous materials like paint. And they charge the city that you live in on your license. So it's free. Dude, when we first started out, we didn't have any markings on our truck. And we showed up with, I don't know, about 60 or 70 cans of paint. And they're like, after this, don't ever come back here. And I was like,
you get one time.
Got it.
There. Thanks. Appreciate it.
That happened here too. We took way
so then we just never took paint again.
And we don't take paint. We were taking 5. We got like 50 of them. We were taking 5 1 gallon. You can take up to like 5 gallons that are Sherwin-Williams. So we go to like 10 different Sherwin-Williams with 5 each. We had them for like a month. It was like the biggest hassle ever.
Oh yeah, we did that with ink. We still do it actually with ink from printers taken to Office Max. It's like 10 cartridges at a time.
Yeah.
Again, these are the lessons you learn. But yeah, I got to a point where we stopped taking paint. But the caveat to that is you have to give then your customers a resource to get rid of paint.
Yes.
Right. And
Safety clean.
so for us, if it's water or latex based paint, you throw some kitty litter in it. You get the dollar store kitty litter because it's like garbage, right? And it'll harden it. That paint, once it's hard, it can actually go into your landfill. Because now it's not leachate. It'll stay hard. Now your oil based paint you can't do that with because it doesn't go hard.
We had a customer.
You got to give them a resource.
We had a customer do that, Andy, and you know how they mixed it. They poured it out on their driveway, and then they mixed the kitty litter into it. And I was like, and they were pissed. They're like, we did what you told us to do. I was like, you're an idiot. I didn't say pour it on the damn ground. No, you put the kitty litter in the fucking. Or you go buy the expensive shit, the paint hardener, so you can. All right, real quick, just for shits and giggles, Griff, what's your zip code up there?
55438.
So okay, I'm looking at this company, Recycle Technologies. They have a spot. Oh, these bastards! I wanted to get a quote. All right, I'm gonna get you a quote. I don't give a shit. All right, so they have a recycling facility near us here in Waukesha, Wisconsin. They also have one up in the Twin Cities. I'm just gonna ask them, what the cost is for TVs.
Sweet. Appreciate it.
Because the reason I'm saying this is this is when you make the needle move, right? This is the nights and weekends. You don't sit around where you selfieing us.
No, just do what you're doing.
Oh, that's all I do, baby. All right. So I just said it. So I'm going to get this for you. But the point is you literally have to just Google shit and figure it out as you go. Because when you do that, you're going to get new information. You already know the way that doesn't work. You know the way that might work. You got to have a Rolodex, 3, 4, 5 places of every type of waste because one is going to be the better fit as you scale, right? The company I take all my stuff to now, e-waste wise, is called URT, Universal Recycling Technologies. I have to sort it. I have to Gaylord it. I have to fucking wrap it. I have to have a dock time. I have to have a PUR number, which I even heard of. And I don't know what the fuck a PUR number is.
Sounds like it sucks already.
Right. But here's the nice thing. I took 8 Gaylords on Friday. I'm taking 10 Gaylords on Wednesday. And I'm taking 12 Gaylords on Thursday. That's 30 Gaylords of e-waste I'm taking to them. So, right. And they pay top price because I found out about them and I bypassed the 2 or 3 others change where if I put the work in to take it down there, I still pay on TVs, but I'm paying 2 cents a pound. Yeah, I pay 2 cents a pound on TVs. Right? Which 2 cents a pound, I'll pay that all day.
So do they take your TVs as e-waste?
8 cents. They take all this e-waste.
I mean,
actually,
even
I'm going to find that. Take them all.
Really? Okay, because for us,
I got to sort. I got to sort projections from CRTs to
flat screen, plasma,
flat screens.
Yeah.
Right, but then I also have to sort. Monitors, right? Versus what do you call it? Monitors versus computer monitors versus TVs, right? Because we used to always lump them together.
Well, and that's
right here. I'll just and here's the deal. I've learned, right? Because I stepped up my game 6 years in this. And I've stepped up my game now.
You weren't interested 2 years ago.
Hey, I'm good now, baby. You're right. 2 years ago, Casey did challenge me to get better on e-waste, and I did not do that thing. But now what I've done is not only have I stepped up on e-waste, I've gotten smart on e-waste, and I'm going to the e-scrap conference in New Orleans, and I'm speaking at the e-scrap conference in New Orleans. Come join me there. This is an official promotion. Maybe we can get promoted by these different conferences we're going to. But anyways, the e-waste or e-scrap conference, I'm going to look it up here in a second. Anyway, all right. So this company here, right, URT, this is the no shit, right? This is the most professional e-waste company I've ever worked with, to a point where they tell you exactly how they want their product shipped to them.
Yeah.
Don't even fuck around. Like with TVs, you can't even have them stacked on a pallet. They got to be wrapped on a pallet and or Gaylorded. CPUs, I can't even Gaylord, which I had to un-Gaylord all my CPUs, right? Because they got to be stacked and wrapped. And then they show you, like, this is what they expect. But this is the point where I was talking about earlier. If you want to step up and get top dollar for what you do, you got to step up with your game. And that's with anybody. If you're fine with taking them 3 at a time to the local county place, fine. But if you want to get paid or you want top dollar, you got to put the work in, right? And then obviously don't be an asshole, right? Like, hey, Casey, that looks like some trailers we've shipped out at some points, right? That's what trailers look like when they come into me.
Or we got in.
I'm gonna pull up their
McDonald's.
Oh my God, yeah. Casey and I did a job for McDonald's Corporation, and I learned a lot about banding because we shipped out these perfect looking pallets, and by the time they got to the receiver, they were not perfect. No. And I learned a lot about shipping at that point. I was like, oh man, I don't know dick, but that's what we had to figure out. Why can I not? Oh, there it is. I had to find the. Here we go. I'll pull this up here now. But again, like even our last episode, we were talking about our failures. Like you don't learn shit without a struggle, and you don't learn without failing. And we failed. We failed like incredibly hard.
Well, and I want
by just doing.
And I want Griffin. I want you to look at this and understand. If you ever get you can talk to Andy about this. Is his shit. But if you ever get a time, I invite you to go see Andy's setup. And you know what? It's one of those things, just seeing his setup. It's not like, oh my gosh, that's so big. It's more of, okay, look at the opportunities in the same exact field you're in right now. And the cool thing is you are so fresh that his sixth year could be your third. And Andy and I, we don't just stop learning. I mean, I may not run a junk removal company right now, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm always trying to learn something new because it's like, dude, when Andy calls me for something, I want to have an answer for him. Same if I call him.
Yep.
And this right here, e-waste, for instance, I didn't start doing e-waste till fourth year. And then it got to the point where I actually found a guy. He was a veteran too. And he would drive and buy trailerfuls of e-waste from me. And if I separated certain things, he'd pay me more. And I'm like, holy shit, this is stuff that people just throw away all the damn time.
Right. Dylan, you're talking about Dylan?
Yeah.
I'm down in Missouri? Yeah. And actually, so in talking to Dylan, I found this other company. I'm like, well, all the things he's doing, I was like, I can fucking do that.
Yeah.
Right? So actually, so I'm going to show you this pricing sheet. So this is the pricing sheet, but this math is reverse math. So negative numbers are what they pay out. Also, this is what I learned recently with them, and this is the state of Wisconsin, is if you let's just do CRT TVs, right? Because this is the issue you're having, right? So this is your I can never say this word, cathode ray tube, CRT, right? These are old school TVs, right? So these TVs here, if when you ship them, if you're not a certified, the C here stands for certified e-waste hauler. To get certified in the state of Wisconsin was simple, but I had to do it. So I got certified as an e-waste hauler. So if I'm not certified, I pay 16 cents. If I am certified, I pay 4 cents. So you're telling me $10 a TV. TV average weight, probably about 75 pounds for your bigger TVs, right? Your 32, 36 inches, right? If I'm paying 4 cents, I'm paying $3 a TV to get rid of those. Right? Now, obviously, there's TVs that are 200 pounds, right? And those are going to cost me $8. But so this is the point. When you step up your game, there is a reason over time. So here, negative pricing includes rebates to the customer. So now if I separate my CRTs from my flat screens or even my monitors, like even monitors. Yeah. So computer monitors, I'm only paying 2 cents for, while I'm paying 4 cents for tube TVs. And I know if I put them all in the same pallet, they're going to charge me for the right whatever the best is. The other thing I recently learned is the PCs. This shit, I never seen. I don't even know how to. I'm terrible at fucking reading. I know this.
The old school
perennials, right? But these are the numbers that they use, and I'm sure someone can comment or talk to us on our podcast. But this is how they break these down, right? Basically, the good ones versus the okay ones versus the bad ones. So now I used to mix all this shit together, and some of this stuff I can scrap. Like I know I could put microwaves in my scrap dumpster. So now I have two. I talked about earlier about having multiple vendors. So let's take microwaves for example. Right now, for them, they're paying Perennials 3. I actually have to pay them 4 cents a pound to get rid of them. I also know I can make 6 cents because scrap is at like 120 right now, 130 call it. I can make 6 to 7 cents a pound on microwaves. So now I can take microwaves as scrap, or I can put them in a sheet iron, and they'll take them and they'll ultimately be recycled. So I can't put remote controls or fucking keyboards in my goddamn scrap dumpster because they'll fucking murder me because it's mostly plastic. So now I could pick and choose, okay, where do I put certain things, right? Because they don't want, or even like satellite receivers, they don't want those in your scrap dumpster. They don't want routers. They don't want a lot of this shit. Actually, game consoles, cable boxes, this is mostly plastic.
Yeah.
Like the only thing actually on here that I put in a scrap dumpster is microwaves.
So it's funny you say that. So
that's it.
I was actually told when I was getting into e-waste, so
The
there's all different kind of classes to, motherboards and shit. I know we're veering way the fuck off course. You know what? Whatever. But
the point. But this is the point. The point is, if you're living out of fucking, if you're living out of storage units, don't be jealous of the guy that's got a 20,000 square foot warehouse.
Yeah.
Figure out how he's doing it. You told me 3-4 years ago I should get into e-waste. And I was like, nope, not my thing.
Yeah.
And then last year, at the end of the year, when I was researching, as I knew I was going to get back into junk removal, I looked at Google terms, and in our area, e-waste was an underserved term in our area.
Yeah.
So then I got smart on e-waste. But I got smart. I spent the winter during a slow period researching it, finding vendors,
so you spent
talking
slow
to
time.
people.
That's a key subject right there, Griffin.
Yeah.
Whenever you're slow,
talk to me about.
That's when you grow. I know it sounds crazy, but dude, when you are slow, you need to be training.
That's when you grow.
You need to be fucking learning, because that is the only time you're going to get. Because whenever you get busy, you know how it is. Now,
when the hair's on fire, it's time to go.
Dude,
Dad.
and e-waste is just a smidgen. But the thing I learned, it's funny you say that, Andy. You can't throw that shit in your dumpster. I got told by an e-scrapper, hey, look, if it's in this class right here, and he gave me all those examples, he's like, just put it in your fucking tin dumpster. So I did, and it worked. I was like, remote.
If I put keyboards in my fucking scrap dumpster, they're going to charge me $400 service fee to sort it.
Yeah,
so actually, this happened to me this summer. One of our guys put a fucking lithium battery in our sheet iron dumpster. So it was a battery off a drill. This like 2 months ago. Scrap was at the time like $280 a ton. Yeah. They gave me zero value on the dumpster and a $400 fee because once they saw one battery, they had to lay it all out, and they found 3 more batteries.
Yeah.
And lithium ion batteries, if they're sitting overnight, they get water on them, they get sun, like they spontaneously combust. I don't know. Some science nerd can tell me what the fuck happens. I know not to put them in there because they don't stick to the magnet. I've never put them, but one of our newer guys did. So we went $1,000 in the wrong direction. That dumpster should have been worth $600 to $700 based on the tonnage at $280 a ton, right? It was at least 2 ton. Instead, I went backwards $400. So a total loss of $1,000 because one of our new employees put 2 or 3 lithium batteries in the sheet iron dumpster.
Yeah, I was out 4 dumpsters. Remember that job I did on the radiation?
Yeah.
Like,
You called me about that. You were so mad. All right, Casey, tell the story because it's fucking interesting.
Yeah, we got a.
But why not to do demo?
Oh my gosh, we got a job to demolish an entire like old ass horse ranch, a bunch of stables and stuff. Super profitable, right? Because it's all metal and labor. Like it's like, dude, all day long. Come to find out, all the stables, all the fencing, every fucking thing, minus like the screws, maybe everything was drill pipe for the oil field, which had what's called naturally occurring radiation. Naturally occurring radiation. So it was radioactive and enough to kick off the Geiger counters at the scrap yards to where they're like, nope, we ain't taking any of this. And then on top of that,
not today.
I was calling the state of Texas. I was calling the capital trying to figure out how to get rid of this shit. And they're like, I guess you just take it to your local landfill. But then I had this landfill guy that I knew, and he was like, dude, they got Geiger counters there too, man. And if you get popped there, they're going to tell you can't take it. I was literally between a rock and a hard place. We ended up dumping all 4 dumpsters. Imagine me loading dumpsters full of drill pipe because it was fencing. How heavy it gets. What do landfills charge? On weight. Dude, I got my ass killed on that. Luckily, the customer understood. But still,
yeah. You ended up telling the landfill let you dump it in a special area. So you were able to take it and do it, remediate it the right way.
Pay for it.
Yeah, you were looking at exactly. You were looking at $10,000 in scrap, and instead you had what 50? What'd you end up paying in landfill fees?
Like $2,200, man.
No.
2,200
per load, or
no? I mean, total was like
per load
like
or total?
$2,500 total. I mean, they gave me a break.
Yeah, I remember.
They're like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're an idiot.
But even the scrap.
Yeah.
But dude, had I not done that job, I never would have even. I've never heard of that shit. I honestly thought the scrapyard I was using was trying to get one over on me because I called John with CMC Metals. They're a big outfit.
Yep.
I called him and he's like, "Oh shit, man, that's that naturally occurring radio." I'm like, "Holy shit, they were telling the truth." I thought he was trying to scam me.
You called me and I was like, I don't know shit.
No.
Next time I went to the scrapyard, I asked them and they're like, oh yeah, we have a thing that's right here on the scale.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you ever turned anybody down? He's like, no, not that I know of. Like, he didn't recall, but he's like, yeah, we have to have it. Like, once a year, the DNR comes out to make sure it's working.
Yep.
And it's like all the bells and whistles go off, whatever. I remember you called me and I was like, I'm learning. I'll sit back and learn.
Well, it's because
it's
the majority of the scrap metal in the U.S. goes overseas, and they can't legally ship over radioactive material, right?
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Yeah,
Let's not do that.
But that's a learning experience that, dude, it sucks, but it goes back to our last episode, how to firefight, man. Golly.
You don't remember this. Yeah, you don't remember the jobs that went the right way. No. That's not interesting enough.
No, absolutely not.
All right, Griff, with respect to a few minutes left, what other questions you got for us? What are you seeing as going to be some of your challenges as you grow into your business in the next 90 to 180 days, knowing that you're going to take a tactical pause going into the winter?
A couple things, like especially when trying to get just the guys going, like running their own crews, just setting up certain systems that will allow kind of like stuff to grow on top of. Because right now there's like an easier way I could do some of that stuff, but once it starts to scale, it's going to start to fucking fall because it's not built on like a sturdy foundation. So stuff like getting payment software set up for like guys so that they can take payment when I'm not on the truck.
What software do you use right now for your whole business?
I'm using Square right now for payments. They take,
but what do you have an operation system right now?
Like for scheduling and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that, and that's an app. I found out that they can have other people download that, so I'm going to have them download that. That has a schedule, CRM, all that stuff. What app is that? It's called Engage. It's like through the website host. That's like the back office of my website, and then I download the app, and that's got like the CRM in it, the calendar.
You can you schedule trucks and things like that?
I'm not sure about the trucks because we just have one running right now, so it's just calendar on it. But that's the same software. So I use a similar software with our Rage Room. So it's a scheduling software. But I this winter, especially if you want to scale to multiple trucks, you got to find a true and maybe your software does. I'm not saying it doesn't, but you need a true operation software that's going to allow you to schedule jobs and trucks. Because I went from chicken scratch. No, not right now. But I'm saying over the winter. That's what I'm saying. 90 to 120 days.
It's free.
What's that?
Remember, okay, so Hub. Before you start buying shit, there are.
I'm not saying buy it, but
there's free. Yeah, there's free platforms. Exactly what Andy's talking about. They're not going to be crazy. Like you can't run our businesses out of it, but they'll help you keep shit organized and separated and scheduled. It's called Hub. It was an app we used our second year, I think, or first year. We got tired of writing shit down all the time.
But I know, but then you eventually upgraded to House Call Pro. Like I eventually upgraded. I would say no. I would say get your software sooner rather than later because how much of a pain in the ass that is to jump from one software to the other.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I the one thing you can do is buy the fourth iteration of software as soon as possible, so you start learning it and using it when you have one operation and one truck. Because if you can't scale with your current software, that is going to be a killer. Mm-hmm. And the more customers you have and the more your guys are trained or ingrained in using the software, the harder it is going to be to convert.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have much familiarity with it, but like Workies or something like that. I don't know if you guys have ever used that before.
I farted around with that. I didn't love it.
I was just curious because I see that one always advertising stuff.
So I use Jobber. I fucking love Jobber. I've used Vonago. Vonago is pretty good. I think Vonago had better reporting and functionality, but it was not nearly as smooth as Jobber from the customer experience standpoint. One thing I will say is figure out where your software is that also coincides with the way you collect credit card payments.
Yeah, and your
because
cruise.
when those don't line up, that is going to be an accounting nightmare. I've had so many people be like, you're paying 2.7% plus 30 cents every time there's a swipe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not paying accountants $85 an hour to unass two systems, right? That's a personal pet peeve of mine. Casey, you liked House Call Pro, right?
Yeah,
you had no issues with it. It was able to scale.
So to me, it was more about my crew. So I actually liked my crews handling most of the jobs from estimating to everything, to payment, you name it. So for me, it was like, what's easier for my crews? And at the time, I think that was our determining factor between House Call Pro and Jobber. But that was also a while back. I mean, House Call was newer, but Jobber was still like, okay, cool. Looks like House Call is good at this. Let's meet that standard. But like, for instance, you get to these, it's almost irrelevant right now, no offense, but you get to these different software programs that offer GPS tracking, speed, how long is my truck idling? I mean, dude, when you get to the point you're having multiple crews, fucking gas.
I have all that, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be like, why is my truck running 10 hours, but you only ran, this long, 4 jobs?
Yeah, so within Jobber, it not only does my schedule, we have to build all the schedule. The CRM function isn't great. I'd give it like a B- on the CRM function.
Yeah.
Scheduling is like an A. Credit card processing, A. And then it integrates with Fleet Sharp. So I have built-in trackers, and I actually just got our truck cams. They just came in. We just got to physically install them in our trucks, so they'll all interact. And I will always invest in that shit early, because you don't the implementation of that takes months. So the sooner you do it, the better to get everybody trained up. So I would recommend in the next 90 to 180 days, maybe in the next 90 days, do your research on which ones you want. So within 180 days, you can execute, and then you have 90 days before April 1 where it's already in process, right? It's already like, yep, this is how we do things. Because no matter what app you use, you're going to have to find workarounds or tweaks or implementation based on your processes. Like, for example, if you have a truck that's 24 cubic yards and one that's 16, how do you price those differently? What does that look like? Right? And that's the kind of implementation. So I look into that, 100% look into that, and have a solution in place within 180 days. 90 days to research, 90 days to implement, 90 days to perfect, and you're already back in season. That's how far out you got to be thinking, because once you get that second guy trained on the truck, you got to be thinking, how do I hit the repeat button? So you got a second truck April 1, you got a third truck June 1, and you go to office on 3 trucks all summer, kicking ass next year. That's where you got to be. And that way you're doing $60,000 to $75,000 a month next summer at this time, with the expectation you're going to get to 90 to 100 by the end of the next season, so that you can be at trucks 4, 5, 6 the following year, or location number 2, or whatever it is.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyway, total soapbox there. All right, op software, get the second guy trained up, and figure out how you can start getting some of this ankle butter shit, couches, TVs, paint, resolved now, whether it's a second storage unit or whatever, so that once so you can start knocking off the biggest pain points first and implementing a solution that is repeatable. And so we're not talking about couches and TVs in 90 days from now.
And remember, you're not trying to create a junkyard. You're not trying to create a transfer station. You're solely trying to create a space to bring things to and figure out a better solution to getting rid of them for now. Okay? We get into much more later on, but that's what I would have you focus on. Look at getting a place where it's cheap. You don't need fucking heat and AC when you're working, all right? But it's cheap. You can move things around and figure out some stuff. Like, okay, TVs, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Too easy.
How much?
All right. Well, go ahead.
How much are you Google ads are you running? Are you running a lot of Google ads?
Casey never did. I am, and I run. I think my budget right now is $1,500 or $2,000 a month. That's a whole other marketing conversation. I feel strongly about it kind of comes down to your market. Google ads can be a good thing. SEO and reviews are more important.
Yeah, and unfortunately, once you start getting in that space, $500 a month ain't gonna cut it. So,
yeah, I'm spending $2 right now. I just started
200,000. 2,000.
Yeah,
that's heavy for one truck.
Yeah,
right now you're spending if you're doing $20,000 a month and you're going to spend up to $2,000 on Google Ads, that's 10% of your overall revenue is going towards one marketing initiative.
You think if I with like the numbers I did without the Google Ads, it's gonna be overkill with if that's like I'll get you think I'll get too many jobs if I stay with that pace with the 25,000 without any sort of Google Ads and start spending $2,000 on Google Ads a month? You think I'll be too busy almost?
Yeah, your phone's gonna ring too much. You don't have enough. Yeah, you're gonna end up paying for leads you can't even utilize at $2,000 a month. Absolutely. And this is your first month in?
It's about to start tomorrow.
That's yeah. You're gonna spend all day answering your damn phone and not enough time doing jobs.
I'm gonna have to bounce.
I would say, yeah. You gotta go, Case.
Here in a minute, yeah.
All right, same. All right, 500. I would start with $500 a month, 125 hours a week. Figure out what's working. You don't want your right. I'll leave us at this. My father always told me the biggest mistake you can make in business is you promise people you can do something at a price you can do it for, and you know you can't. Mm-hmm. So if your phone starts ringing and you know you can't do the job because you only got one truck, you've just spent money to create problems.
Yeah, one crew can average do 4 or 5, maybe 5 jobs a day on average.
Yeah, $500 a month is where I would feel comfortable with one truck. I run 1,500 to 2,000, and I'm running 4 or 5 trucks a day. There's my 2 cents on that.
Yep.
Without getting way into that.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's check in with you in 90 days, if not sooner, to see where you're at with your business. As always, thank you, everybody, joining us. Myself, Annie Weins, Casey Bubba Lawrence, and Griffin Parriott, like Marriott, not in the family, on this, the 15th episode of the Trash Talk Business Podcast.